JBN, we keep you informed. Fake cops rob businessman of more than $14 million in Falmouth. A Trelawney businessman was yesterday robbed of more than $14 million in cash, is a licensed firearm and 60 rounds of ammunition. Police sources say the businessman, who is of Chinese descent and whose name is being withheld, operates a hardware store in Falmouth. According to the sources, the businessman reported that he was held up by a group of men posing as police officers who stole his licensed Eckler and Koch pistol, 2 magazines with 60 9mm cartridges, Jamaican $3.8 million and US $80,000. 2 teens among 5 nabbed in Augustown gun find. 5 people, including 2 teenagers, are now in police custody following the seizure of a firearm and the several rounds of ammunition on Mall Road, Augustown in St. Andrew on Monday. Reports are that about 8:45 p.m., lawmen were conducting patrols in the area when they signaled the driver of a Nissan AD wagon motorcar to stop. The driver complied and the vehicle and its occupants were searched, during which one Taurus 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 11 rounds of ammunition was reportedly found under the front passenger seat of the car. The vehicle and the gun were subsequently seized. The identities of the 5 people in custody are being withheld pending further investigations. Landlord stabbed to death after dog tore up tenant's shoe. A dispute between a tenant and his landlord ended with the landlord being stabbed to death and the tenant taken into police custody. The landlord's dog reportedly tore up the tenant's shoes in Lilliput, St. James. Leading to the dispute, police identified the deceased as 44-year-old David Campbell of Africa District in Lilliput. Reports by the Barrett Town Police are that about 9:30 p.m. last Saturday, an argument developed between Campbell and his 30-year-old tenant after he went to collect his rent. It is reported that the tenant presented a sum of money to his landlord for his rent, but Campbell refused it, saying that it was not the correct amount. He was then told by the tenant that the rent money was short because he had to use a portion of it to replace his pair of shoes, which was allegedly torn up by the landlord's dog recently. An argument developed and it escalated into a physical confrontation. The landlord allegedly attacked his tenant with a knife but ended up receiving stab wounds to his body. The police were summoned and upon arrival, Campbell was rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead and the tenant taken into custody. One community member said that he knows both individuals and was aware of the dog biting up the tenant's shoes. People have to know set time hard and him can't expect him dog to bite up the man's shoes them and it just go like that without him pay back for the shoes them, the resident said. The brand and value of the shoes as well as the cost for the rent was not available. Robber nabbed on Pink Lane, ammo seized. A man is now in police custody following a robbery and the seizure of 5 rounds of ammunition on Pink Lane in Kingston 11 on Monday. According to the police, about 9:35 a.m. lawmen were conducting patrols in the area when they responded to a robbery. Upon their arrival, the suspects reportedly fired several shots in their direction in a bid to escape. One of the 2 robbers was subsequently apprehended, and a magazine containing 5 rounds of ammunition was found in the area. The identity of the person is being withheld pending further investigations. Man arrested in St. Elizabeth, gun find. Lawmen arrested a man following the seizure of 1 firearm and several rounds of ammunition in Comapen in Junction, St. Elizabeth on Sunday, April 5. According to the police, about 2:20 p.m., officers were conducting patrols along the main road when they signaled the driver of a Nissan Caravan motor truck to stop. The driver complied and the vehicle and its occupant were searched. 1 9mm pistol with 12 rounds of ammunition was taken from the driver, the police said. The identity of the person is being withheld pending further investigations. Farmer on assault charge following Aki dispute. A St. Mary farmer is set to appear before the Port Maria Parish Court to answer to the charge of assault occasioning grievous bodily harm following a dispute over Aki. The farmer, 57-year-old Howard Allen, who is of Islington, St. Mary, is accused of using a walking stick to hit the complainant, resulting in a broken nose and other bruises. The incident took place about 7:30 a.m. last Wednesday. Police were called and the complainant was transported to the hospital where he was admitted for treatment. Allen was charged on Saturday and is scheduled to appear before the court on Thursday, May 14. "I am well," says Royal Reid amid rumor. Resigned Education Minister Royal Reid has dismissed reports that he has been hospitalized after taking an overdose of prescription drugs. The claim was circulating on social media yesterday. However, Reid said that he and his family have been safe and have been coping with measures to contain the spread of the coronavirus in Jamaica. "I want to assure that I am well. My family is well," he said.
Good afternoon, Jamaica. This is Royal Reid here. I'd like to thank our Jamaican family members for their prayers and their support. And as I battle my own personal challenges, I'm also mindful that Jamaica and the world, we're also battling the pandemic, the coronavirus. I'm urging all of you to follow all the instructions of the authorities and to keep yourselves and your families safe. I want to assure you that I am well, my family is well, and we are coping very well, and we are trusting the Lord for his full deliverance. God bless you, and God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Reid, his wife Sharon, their daughter Cheryl, as well as Caribbean Maritime University President Professor Fritz Pinnock and the Brownstown Division Councillor Kimbrough Lawrence are to return to the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on April 8. Funeral homes warned to be careful in handling COVID-19 victims, concerned that persons who die from COVID-19 may still be infectious. Funeral home operators are being warned to avoid direct contact with blood and other fluids from the bodies. Jamaica's Health Ministry has also cautioned that funeral home workers should properly dispose of personal protective equipment after handling the body of someone infected with the virus or other infectious diseases. The warnings are among guidelines crafted by the Ministry of Health and Wellness and circulated to funeral home operators island-wide as part of the measures to help contain the spread of coronavirus disease, COVID-19, and protect employees across the industry. Jamaica has 59 confirmed cases of COVID-19 up to yesterday, with 3 deaths. The first victim, a 79-year-old man from Clarendon and New York in the United States, died on March 18. Up to late Friday, he had not been buried. The funeral home that has possession of his body confirmed, "I am waiting on instructions. I haven't received any, neither from the Ministry of Health nor the family," the operator of the funeral home said, even as he admitted that he was aware that the protocol for the treatment of infectious disease was in effect. However, Dunstan Bryan, permanent secretary in the Health Ministry, was at a loss as to what instructions the funeral home operator was awaiting. Bryan insisted that the guidelines with a raft of recommendations on how to treat with the body of a COVID-19 victim were circulated to funeral home operators through their representative body, the Jamaica Association of Certified Embalmers and Funeral Directors. The association, through its president, Calvin Lynn, confirmed that the guidelines have been circulated, but said members have been instructed to seek guidance from the Health Ministry as soon as they take possession of the body of a COVID-19 victim, noting that registered funeral homes are familiar with protocols for infectious diseases from the days of the onset of the HIV virus. Lynn disclosed that his members have already secured supplies of body bags and personal protective equipment, including some that were purchased in preparation for the Ebola virus outbreak a few years ago. "We use the same body bags with our precautionary measures, your mask, shields, gloves, and disposable clothes," he said. The Health Ministry noted in the guidelines that all COVID-19 dead bodies are potentially infectious and warned that standard precautions should be implemented for every case. Infectious agents can be transmitted when persons are in contact with blood, body fluids, or tissues of the dead body of a person with infectious diseases, the circular warned. To minimize the risk of transmission of known and unsuspected infectious diseases, dead bodies should be handled in a manner that will prevent direct exposure of workers to blood, body fluids, and tissues. As the much feared COVID-19 sweeps across the world, leaving a pile of dead bodies in its wake, researchers and medical professionals continue to study the new virus and its devastating impact both in life and death, even as they scramble to contain it and find a vaccine to treat it. Dr. Alfred Dawes, one of Jamaica's leading medical practitioners, said the guidelines prepared by the local health ministry are in keeping with international standards, and if adhered to, will decrease the chances of contracting COVID-19 from dead bodies. However, he is apprehensive about the protocols being put into actual practice. Based on ongoing research into this new threat the world is now facing, the health ministry is right on point with its protocol. However, my concern is whether we can translate what looks good on paper to best practices in the real world, noted Dawes, who is the medical director of Windsor Wellness Center and Cariva Medical Limited. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.